And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for being here. Welcome, Swatty Cop and all that kind of stuff. Got a little bit of work for y'all today.
Swatty Cup. What?
Swatty Cop. That's Ty.
Swatty Cup.
That's
I thought
Ty.
you were talking about the linebacker from UCLA.
Swessinger. No.
Oh,
No.
Swatty Cup.
No, it's
Swatty Cup, then,
it's-
sir. Swatty Cup.
it's
Swatty
Ty.
Cup, right?
It's greetings
Oh.
in Thai. Yeah.
Greetings.
So when you do your
I-
Muay
that's right,
Thai classes,
I thought you were just going right into the UCLA linebacker.
you are hilarious, bro.
What?
That's why.
I'm like, God, he's jumping right into this thing, both feet.
Those two names don't even sound the same, bro. Sawatika. Carson Sawatika. That's funny, man. But nah. Lombardi, Bryan Broaddus, we doing all right. Appreciate y'all for being here.
Man,
Shake our
there you
hand.
go. Good to see you, man.
Got a little bit of work today. First of all, let me say this. I wasn't on the draft show today. What happened? Y'all have fun? Y'all enjoy yourself?
Let me tell you what.
Did anybody
Let me
fight?
tell you what.
Hmm?
It was some discussion. We went back and like talked about our misses,
Okay.
the guys we missed, but we also talked about the guys we hit.
Okay.
But the misses were
Pause.
painful.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Okay.
Tommy Yarge brought donuts.
He brought donuts.
He brought donuts.
Tommy better than me. Tommy, y'all ain't finna haze me.
there was a box of Dunkin' Donuts sitting there, and like I figured that the previous show, it was like, Duncan had brought a spot or somebody brought him in, and so the show before us, so I just moved him out of the way.
Yeah.
And Tommy went and picked up the donuts, and I go, you didn't bring those, did you?
Damn.
He goes, yeah, I did. I brought the donuts. So I said, damn. I go, because like he did good. He had chocolate ones. He had sprinkled ones. He had a good assortment. Like the coaches and scouts would have been really happy with his donuts. And I said, damn it. I wish I would have known that, because I would have eaten one on air, just to kind of, but we all had donuts walking out of the studio, but he goes, well, I felt like since it was my first time and I don't want to be a bad scout. And I go, well, thank you. You're a good scout now.
You're a bad scout when you pick bad players. Have some pride, Tommy.
Have some pride. I'll tell you what, man, we went into, we went in and started kind of talking about where we had guys in the last. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a good show that way. Looking forward to having you back on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
And we didn't battle royale like when you, me, and Wolchuk are on.
That's a fight waiting to happen.
That's a fight waiting to happen. I'm interested to see how those shows are going to be in the rankings with the other shows.
You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
I know exactly what's going to happen.
You know what time it is.
Yeah. I know exactly what's going to happen there. But it was good to go back and to kind of go through and talk about some of the guys that you hit on. And I was, like I say, my misses that I was talking about were the quarterbacks, the kid in New England, and then also Drake May, and then also our guy Bo Nix. Yeah, I felt like that I had those guys too low for where they should have been picked, and and then I talked about, okay, why did I have Dallas Turner at 12 and not Drake May or Bo Nix, and that spot. So but it was a good show. We just really kind of reminisced about, well, where did you have? So I hope folks, after our show, maybe when you're working out tomorrow, driving around, after you listen to our show first, listen to the draft show, and you'll hear all that.
Bryan Broaddus, I don't know if this is last year or year before, but man, let me just ask you this. Were we right about Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, and I've even gone on record, and it's been clipped, as I think that Bijan Robinson is. I think Ashton Genty is a better player than Bijan Robinson, and I absolutely love Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I absolutely love Bijan Robinson, and and I'm one of these guys that I give value to running backs. Sure. I'm not one of these, and that's cool, man. I get it. I'm learning. I'm starting to learn about metrics and team building that way and stuff, and how you use salary cap money and things. But I love Bijan Robinson. I really do, and I felt like I was right about Gibbs too. I had Gibbs jacked way up there too.
Yeah.
So, but these running backs, they're valuable, man. They are valuable pieces to your team, and it's a shame that some folks don't feel that way about them. But we'll see.
Man, Bryan, I want you to.
We got some depth. We got some depth in this draft on it, though.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely finish our running back conversation. Maybe tomorrow, the day after, something like that. We got a long time to talk about all these guys, Bryan.
Got 100 days today. Kyle Yeomans told me 100 days until the NFL draft.
Well, that's plenty. That is indeed plenty. But we're gonna watch a couple more. But we do have a homework assignment that's due today from the previous day. Bryan Broaddus. We have we'll just go down this little order right here. Yesterday you asked me about Trey Amos.
I did.
You kind of jumped out early, and normally when you ask me what do I think about a guy, it's typically because maybe you're unclear about the guy. You want to know how I feel. I'm kind of in that same boat, I was watching Trey Amos, and I feel like he's a pretty good man cover guy.
Yeah, press man corner. Yeah.
Press man. I feel like Ole Miss plays a bunch of zone. That's one thing that's bothering me, these man cover corners that be in these zone schemes or whatever. But when you do get a chance to see him play, man, I feel like he has some good length to him. It seems to be that way. I'm the guy that waits on the combine so I can have the numbers for it, Broaddus. But as of now, without me having numbers, it looks like he has enough length because he plays with really good length, pressing guys at the line of scrimmage there. If you get into his chest, you could push him around a little bit. He doesn't seem all that big, all that thick. He seems like a taller, slim kind of guy. But he
6'1", 190. 6'1", 190.
Pretty slim. Yeah. Okay, cool. But he turns really well. I think he uses the sideline really well, and I think he really gets in guys' chests and he presses and he bails really well, right? I don't like Ole Miss using him in zone and stuff. I wasn't a big fan of his as a zone guy. But when he was in man, he was making some babies in man coverage, Bryan. And he can cover across the field, because now that I'm working with you and I watch these corners, I wait to see can these corners cover crossing the field, and he can absolutely do that. Drives really well in man. I wasn't feeling a lot of his driving in zone, maybe because he sees it a little late in zone, but when he's in man, he drives on it really well, and he can swat balls away if he's in great position because of his arm length. But go ahead, Bryan. Trey Amos from Ole Miss, cornerback.
I think you got the guy nailed. This is a double transfer. This kid started his career at Louisiana, there in Lafayette. What we used to know as the old Raging Cajuns. And So he went to Louisiana, and then he ended up at Alabama, and then transferred to Ole Miss. Yep. So he's been a couple different places already. The majority of his snaps he plays are from the outside. And I've only seen a handful of snaps where he plays in the slot. He'll play the left and the right corner. I do like when you mentioned he lines up and tight press, and then he can turn and run. And you mentioned this kid does a great job of maintaining leverage against like vertical routes, and then using his length to cut off or to squeeze the receiver a little bit more. I think he's a loose hip guy. I think he's really fluid in the transition stuff. I think it was really rare that you see a receiver get away from him. And then I say that, and then Georgia ran a guy past him, and just Beck didn't go that direction. The safety got over, and then but he was beat. He was beat on the play. And I kind of felt like that, you mentioned about guys getting in his chest. You're right about that. I mean, I felt like that maybe some bigger receivers might bully him a little bit, but the quick feet, the lateral movement, the mirror at the line of scrimmage, the hands in order to control, I think are really, really, really good. And if you look at the metrics on him, he allowed 2 touchdowns this year on 32 receptions. So he's got the ball skills. He's got the ability to track it. He's got the ability to high point the ball. He makes plays. I love the way he competes as a press corner. Yeah. I think he plays with a little chip on his shoulder. I think he's one of those guys. So Trey Amos, and I'm going to guess, Voch, you probably put him in the 3rd round.
I got a 2 on him, but he's at the bottom of my 2s, though.
All right. Thank you. I got him as a 2 as well. Yep. I've got Will Johnson, as okay. Now, folks, it's not 1 to 32 and then Will Johnson. Sure. There might be a 1 to 15, Will Johnson 16, when you start to stack. don't freak out that you say, oh, he's a second round guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's kind of where he's not. You've got a group of guys that you would take in the first. Amos I have behind Will Johnson.
Me too.
In this thing. So
that's exactly where I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's second round. It's Will Johnson, Michigan, Amos, Ole Miss, and then Hairston from Kentucky. Those are my second round guys as we speak right now.
So I got it just like you, Brian, but I got Hairston in the third, but my order right now is Hunter and Barron in the first round.
The first round, right.
Ravel, Morrison, Johnson.
Yeah.
Then I got Amos in the second, and I got Harrison in the third.
And you got Harrison down the third. I could very well see that Harrison ends up in the third round here. I know I saw him very, very early. I kind of liked him as a potential. He's a Kentucky kid.
Mm-hmm.
I like him for like the nickel play that he has. I think he can play in the slot and that kind of thing. I went off the corners. I got Hunter, Ravel, Barron, Morrison. So I've got 4 first-round corners is what I have. And then so far 3 in that second round.
I don't hate that at all.
We're looking at.
I don't hate that at all, Bryan Broaddus. But yeah, Trey Amos. And looking,
how about that? How about though, real quick, Voch?
Sure.
How about that though? But the thing that bothers me, and it gives me a little anxiety, is that I love Ravel, knee. I love Morrison, hip.
Yep.
And maybe if those things don't check out,
some of these guys will probably go before them. Yep.
There you go.
Fair enough.
There you go.
That's fair, Brian.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic point. Man, we're gonna save my favorite of these guys for last. Brian, I don't want to prove you correct or anything.
Don't do that.
But she was like, man, Voch, I noticed something about you, man. I'm just looking at your board, Voch. This is how you said it to me. You said, man, I'm just looking at your board, Voch. I said, what you say, Brian? You said, man, all them twitchy, bendy pass rushers way at the top
you
up
got
there.
Them all. You did. You Bill Parcells this thing is what you did. You stacked those dudes in there like club sandwiches is what
But
you
man, Voch, every time we got one of these other kind of characters, these power kind of guys, these efforty dudes, you just kind of throw them in the third, huh?
Oh, here's Sawyer and Jackson, and here they go.
I got 2 big ass boxes of club sandwiches, Brian. 1 in the 2, 1 in the 3. Yeah, man. So look, Ashton Gelati. We'll just call him Gelati until we get corrected, Brian.
I think it is. I think it's Ashton Gelati is what I think it is.
I got them bunched in there with Ivy and Tuamalau and Sawyer. I think they're all in that same kind of group. But if you read Gelati, high effort player, super motor guy, lines up in B gap sometimes. He can line up on the outside. He can line up, head up, do the little 4-eye stuff. He can 2-gap if you ask him to. I do think he has some decent hand usage, Brian. More than some of these other characters that are just running down the middle of people. But I don't think he has a lot of pass rush moves. I think he has more hands than pass rush moves. I think I think he got a bull rush, if anything, Brian. That's probably one of his favorite moves. But if he's gonna get a sack, it's gonna be effort. He's going to push people around, and if you hold the ball too long, he'll effort and motor his way into a sack, which is interesting because you said he wasn't sack guy, and he's not. Right. And he's not. But in 2023, he had 11 of them. So I said, cool, let me.
I know. It's weird. It's weird. I didn't see him as, to me, I saw a guy that gave great effort and the way he played and all that. And so, I didn't go and check the metrics on the sacks.
Yeah.
Because of the tape I watched this year, I didn't see a bunch of them.
Yeah. It wasn't much.
So,
but the biggest like he's in the third for me, but the biggest reason I kind of got him ranked under some of these other guys is I think those other guys are much more like all their jobs, they're rundown guys. I think they're going to be good rundown dudes. I think Gelati kind of gets washed in the run sometimes, or his motor or his over aggression to kind of get him pushed out the way sometimes. But besides that, I think he's super effort and motory dude. Brian, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. You still have your report on Viliami Fehoko? Do you still have it?
No, I'm gonna tell you who this guy is.
Who is he?
I'm gonna tell you.
Tell me who he is.
Remember Keon White from Georgia Tech? Did you ever do Keon White?
I think Keon played with a lot more power, but I feel what you're saying. Just like the effort guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy, because let me read Keon White if I could.
Please.
He was 6'5", he's 285 at a Georgia Tech. If you remember, he was a transfer from Old Dominion. So this is Keon White I'm talking about. Plays with effort and toughness, more effort and toughness than athletic ability. He doesn't come flying off the ball, but more of a power pusher, tries to bully the blocker. And then there's several snaps where he gets away with it, and he could be a hard guy to deal with a pass rusher when he wants to walk or block or back. He doesn't have a wide range of pass rush moves, but he does a great job when he gets in position as a finisher. Is going to make his share of tackles behind or near the line of scrimmage, has a nose for the ball. You're not going to fool him on the play. Does a good job at staying in position, playing with leverage, holding up his end of the line. There's several snaps where he just was unblocked. He was able to close down and make the play.
Sure.
There's really nothing flashy about his game. The power in which he plays really gets him in position to make those plays.
Sound about right.
I swear I was watching Keon White when I was watching this kid.
Sounds about
right. That's why I did. Now, I think that you've got this kid. I think that you've got him right. And when I read Keon White there, Giletti, he's the same way. I mean, he's knocked blockers back, doesn't have pass rush moves, I've seen him play the edge, but some 3 technique, not give an inch, best trait is ability to play the run, disciplined player, doesn't fly up the field when unblocked, that's kind of where I was thinking about Keon White. I was thinking Keon White, he's just really, really steady. There's no real, there's no real problems with his game.
Yeah.
This kid I felt like was the same way. I have him in the 3rd round. Yeah. I have him behind those guys that we were laughing about. Sure. We were talking about, not laughing at or anything like that, but laughing about when you talk about bendies and non-bendies, the Scortons. And I think Scorton, let's see, more tape, maybe Bendy. I haven't seen
I done seen all the tape. I'm not budging on Scorton.
Okay. But Scorton, Jackson, Sawyer, Giletti, those guys, that's kind of where I got all those guys like in the 3rd round right there. Yeah. Is what I've got.
Brian, and if I can answer the question that y'all had today on the draft show, now that I think about it, I was definitely wrong on what's his name? We just talked about Keon White. Keon White. He's with the Patriots now.
Yeah.
And I was watching some Patriots film this season. I was like, damn, Keon White doing stuff. I never would have thought Keon White would be doing stuff. Because of what you said, Brian. Like he didn't stand out traits wise. Right. And I'm always looking for a trait. He just seemed like, all right, if you're just steady and regular.
You're a trait scout.
I like traits. Scout. Yeah, I like traits, but I don't like the raw player, And when people were talking about him, they were talking about him as like a 1st round, second, like a high second type guy. Yeah. I had him personally like a late 3rd type dude because he was just a steady, regular looking dude, right? But I watched some Patriots film and he was absolutely a good player for them. So I was wrong about him, Keon White. I was wrong about him. I will say that. I wasn't too wrong, but I was a little incorrect about that. So now I got more hope in the steady guys. And Giletti is on the Bruce Feldman's freak list, so I imagine that he's going to test really well. And I got a 3 on him, but if he's one of those dudes that runs really well and tests and moves really well, he could get drafted in the 2nd round by some team that likes him.
We could see him potentially above Sawyer, Ohio State, Jackson, Arkansas, but you mentioned the sack numbers and stuff like that. I could say, I just was thinking like steady, good run player. That's Keon White. I mean, it just boom. I mean, like, this is what this guy is. So, but you're right. He could be better if he tests better. And I'm sure we'll probably see him do that.
Yeah, man, I want to say the best for last, Bryan Broaddus. I'm going to say this special player here for the last go. But right now, Brian, why don't you tell us about, why don't you lead us off with this? I led the last 2. I'll let you lead the last 2. Carson Schwessinger, the linebacker from UCLA. We were talking to Nick Harris on the draft show, the 1st episode of the draft show. Oh, no, the 2nd episode. No, it was Bobby Belt. And Bobby Belt vouched for Carson Schwessinger, said that he was linebacker 1 and that he was the Marvin Overshown. Brian, what you think of Carson Schwessinger from UCLA?
I tell you what, if Bobby wants to say kind of a poor man's overshown.
Not as long, not as athletic, but yeah.
Yeah, but 6'2", 225 is what we're working on right now. This guy was a former walk-on for UCLA and earned a scholarship just by playing really, really good special teams. He's kind of a throwback player, Voch, in the way he plays. He doesn't have a big frame.
Sure.
He doesn't have any true bulk, but his instincts and his toughness as a run defender is really impressive. He does a really fine job of playing downhill. He's a physical player, and where he does is he's able to play with his hands. So he sheds blocks really quickly. If he's not shedding, he's kind of knifing through cracks and gaps and stuff like that. I feel like he's really good at kind of sniffing out blocking assignments. And then after the ball snap, boom, he's where he needs to be. He's quick-footed. He's got lateral agility. He does a really nice job of filling the hole when necessary for a 225-pound guy. The pad level, the balance, he had 153 tackles this year. And he only missed on 7% of his tackles. So every time you watched him, you were like going, okay, 49, he's there, boom, tackle, tackle again. He has the speed to chase ball carriers down, sideline to sidelines. What's also impressive, and I think this is where Bobby Belt was talking about with him as far as being kind of a poor man's overshown, was that this kid had 4 sacks. Like you watch him, he had 4 sacks, and he's really good at timing up his blitz and then getting home untouched or with little contact, and then he gets rid of the guy. But he can wrap up the quarterback, high IQ, intensity. I could see this kid being used on special teams to get a start, and then in some sub packages, because you watch him cover, he could actually do that pretty well. I just said this kid's a fine player. I could see where Bobby has him as a guy, as where he has him on the level on his board.
Yeah, Brian, you got him, man. He gets his ass to the football, don't he? he gets.
Yeah.
The first thing I do when I break down players, man, I look at the game log, and every single game this year. I guess he only really played this year, or just played a lot this year.
Really played a lot,
12 tackles, 15, 12, 8, 10, and all double digits. I'm like, damn, he gets busy. Hard to find film on him, but we got it. I watched Oregon and some other little game I can find, and Iowa, I believe. And he got a pick versus Iowa, so just commenting on the coverage ability there. But just when you talk about complete linebacker stuff, right? Like I do think that there's something to him moving forward, like as a pass rushing guy, right? I don't know how much on the next level they're gonna ask him to do it. Like he's not a huge guy. He doesn't really have a bunch of length.
He's not
kind of like Demo is, like Demo is a big, tall, lengthy character, like long arms and all that, So I don't know how much he's going to be asked to do it, but as a blitzer, sure. As a drop back cover guy, sure. As a sideline to sideline dude, I typically look at linebackers like you're either the diagnosing dude that can't run that fast, or you the super athlete that kind of get mixed up a little bit. I think he's fast enough. I think he's athletic enough to not put him in the don't run fast. But as far as diagnosis, he sees it. He sees it and he gets there. Some teams that misdirect for a living, they could possibly get on to him if they, do a bunch of play action, stupid little misdirect type stuff. But for the most part, if it's like standard offense or whatever, he's on it, Bryan Broaddus. I'm a fan. I don't know what round to put him in, though. Let me look at my board. I don't know what round to put him in. I currently have him behind Campbell. Jahad Campbell from Alabama, but I do have a 2 on him.
See, I went 3.
Yeah.
I went 3 on him because, like I said, I'm a little bit, this is, and I'm going to admit this is a little bit of a coward's grade.
Sure.
I want to see legitimately what he runs.
Yeah.
He plays, you said it, he plays fast enough on tape, but I wonder if he's a 4.7 guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But I mean, you see the sideline, you see that, but I wonder if it's really the instincts. This guy's a hell of a player. I just, and I'm not trying to hedge a bet here.
Yep.
I'm just, if he comes out and he runs in the 4.5s, I could see a second round player.
That's enough.
Absolutely see a second round player. Yeah. If he runs in the 4.7s, I think he's going to be more of a third round player. If that, I mean, you got to like the story about being a walk on, earning a scholarship. UCLA was not good this year. They just weren't. But you watch him play. I saw him against USC, Fresno, and I think I got the UCLA game was another one I had. And I like he's making tackle after tackle. Him and there's a number 20, another linebacker.
Sure.
And you kind of got to get them confused. One wears a sleeve, the other does,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But if he runs 4.7, he's probably going to be more of a third round player. If he runs in the 4.5s,
yeah,
I'm going to say they're probably going to put him there in the second round would be but I have Campbell above him, but I have Campbell in the second, and then I have our UCLA guy in the third.
Man, Bryan, you ready for this feature presentation, man? You ready? You ready for the finale?
Is this the finale, as they say?
It's the last one, Bryan. Yeah, man, me and Jeff Kavanaugh, some of my favorite guys on the YouTube, out on the YouTube front there. Shouts out to them. This is a guy that we've been kind of watching, and we just been kind of vouching for him, Bryan. Bryan, please lead us off, man, with the ex-receiver, big body yak guy, Savion Williams from TCU, Bryan. Please say all great things. Talk about his drops, but besides drops, say all the other great things about Savion Williams, Bryan Broaddus, please.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though. I mean, this kid was really, when you start to, you're just kind of looking for guys, and you're looking, especially with these guys with size, and 6'5", 225 pounds is what I'm working on right now. Mm-hmm. And I have to admit, this is when you start to talk about players, I really want to give TCU a lot of credit for the crazy amount of different ways they use this guy.
Sure do.
Guy was a high school player converted to a wide receiver.
Yep.
He's a lot of fun to study. And because, again, how he's used, he's super athletic. He's got excellent size, the speed combination for the position. He gets onto a defender in a hurry. Sure does. And it's amazing how well he moves up the field, the outstanding body control, the balance for the position. He makes those bad ball receptions look routine. There's times where he goes back, times he goes up. There's one hand, whatever. Yeah, he's had some drops in his day, but he makes up for it with the way that he plays. I think the thing that's really impressive about him, he's one of these guys that when the moment arrives, he's able to make the best of it when it comes to catching the ball and then running with it. Whatever he has to do. Now, I watched him in a game. I watched him throw it. Yep. I watched him run it for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I watched him catch one. He's one of these guys. He can win on third down. He's got the quickness to get in and out of his cuts. He can create separation in transition. He's a weapon, as I mentioned, with the ball in his hands. I've seen him catch one, run one, throw one for a touchdown during this season. And he's used like Deebo Samuel. That's where people are going to start to talk about this kid.
Sure.
But if I had to compare him to a receiver in this league, I think he's Rico Collins with the Houston Texans.
That's fantastic, Bryan, bro. That's a fantastic evaluation.
I think this is, when Rico Collins, Michigan, Houston Texans, inside receiver, big body guy, run after catch, get the football. I think this kid is, when we started looking at guys, like I said, we looked at Rico Collins. Yep. We're seeing this type of guy now, maybe not being used in all the crazy ways, but Rico Collins, when you watch him for the Texans, every pass that goes, he's slant runner, inside runner, everything middle, down the field, middle. He's one of those guys. Mm-hmm. I think it's Savion Williams is, and now, okay, on my stack, the way the wide receiver stack, and I'm sorry, go ahead. Tell me what you think about the player. My apologies.
Nah, Bryan, you good, man. I'm watching Savion Williams, and this isn't a TCU thing, but I was like, man, Quentin Johnston was supposed to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now Quentin Johnston as the Charger,
we liked Quentin Johnson. We did.
As a college guy for sure. But as far as the hands goes, right? Like he catches the ridiculous passes, right? But I think most of his drops come from like focus stuff. And I think you can
concentration, yeah.
I think you can fix it. Like what the hell is coaching for if you can't coach a guy out of focus drops?
I swear to God, I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says coaching.
Please.
It's about coaching, yeah.
I just think yards after catch is the purest form of expression in football, Bryan. And this cat 6'5", humongous frame, catch radius. Bryan, you mentioned all those great things. Even if you say, all right, we're going to use you as an X receiver today. He can get off the line of scrimmage. He can run your slants. He can stack the hell out of people, get behind you.
He can
right?
get behind you. Yep, sure can.
Separates. He catches the ball like with bodies on him because he's so long, right? But Bryan, let's just say he's having a bad day as an X receiver. Let's just say contested catches just ain't happening today. You know what TCU did? They handed the ball to him, which is a pure form of football expression, and it said, you know what? Take the direct snap. Take the direct snap, and he'll go run and he looks good. Bryan, normally these tall guys, they don't turn really well. They don't explode really well.
No, he's got some of that.
He got some good change of direction and movement for tall, long guy. So I'm up here like, man, I hope I'm not overrating him, Bryan. I got him in the second. We're going to have a conversation between him and Alec Ayomanyor from Stanford.
I got him, but I got our Stanford guy behind him.
Yeah.
I have Golden from Texas ahead of him, though.
I haven't watched Golden yet.
Okay. I hope I didn't ruin it for you there. I thought you'd seen Golden.
No, he ain't even on my list when he came out. What happened with him? Huh?
He announced yesterday.
Okay, I ain't see him. I'll add him to the list then. Golden from Texas. Okay, cool.
Yeah, number 2. He's not hard to find. Okay. Watch if you could get a copy. If you get a hold of the Arizona State game, give it a go.
Okay,
that'd be a good one to start with if you want to.
I'll do that. But right now, it's a coin flip for me between Williams and Alec Ayomanyor. It's a coin flip. But what's probably gonna be the deciding factor for me putting Williams over? Oh, I'm tripping, Bryan. Pardon me. Maybe I did this later on, like early, like last week. I got Williams over Ayomanyor, but this was something that I was back and forth on.
I'm interested to see where you put Golden in the 3 then.
Okay,
I'll be interested.
I'm
sorry if I messed it up for you. But
no, please, you're good. But
you're your own man. You know what you're doing.
But the yak ability for a 6'5" guy is special to me. That dude gets busy. Even if you don't go vertical with him, let him do short game. They have a tough time tackling the guy, Bryan. So I got him as my wide receiver 4 right now. If Travis was a wide receiver, he'd be wide receiver 5.
Right,
but
give me a corner, right?
Yeah. So I got McMillan, Burden, Igbuka, and I got Savion Williams right after him. Now, Bryan, what part of the second round? Because me and you did this exercise last week, or a couple of days ago, Monday or something, where we looked over the mock draft and we drafted Genty in the first round. Okay.
Yeah.
Savion wasn't taken yet, but a lot of our other guys were. Bryan, would you take Savion with 44 with your second round pick, the Cowboys?
Yeah, if Golden wasn't on the board,
okay.
Yes,
I gotta watch Golden. Okay,
now what we have to figure out is on my board, I've got okay, you've seen Green. I need to do this exercise with you when you've seen Golden.
Okay.
Because I'd be interested. But okay, Williams or Green from Marshall.
If we're at 44?
Yeah.
Green for sure. If Mike Green, the pass rush from Marshall, if he falls to 44,
he's a first round.
He's a first round guy. We going to Golden Corral if we can get Mike Green at 44 for sure.
What about Booker then? The guard, Booker.
I'm taking Booker. I'm taking Booker over Savion.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Man, you got Booker high, and that's good.
I like Booker.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like Booker.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I love Savion too, though. Go ahead, please.
How about Williams or Ty Williams from Ohio State, the defensive tackle?
Okay. I might go Savion there. Savion there.
Okay.
I think wide receiver is more valuable than one tech in that situation.
Okay, how about the guy we just studied? How about Amos, the corner from Ole Miss?
I'll take Savion
over Williams.
Savion.
Oh, the wide receiver you could take. Yeah,
Savion over Amos. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. How about Princely, our edge rusher from Ole Miss, or Williams?
That's hard, Brian. That's the hardest one you got me on right there. That's the hardest one.
Yeah.
I would say Williams because Princely's not a 3-down player for me.
Yeah.
Princely's not a 3-down player for me, but Savion's going to be on the field much, much more than him.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to you seeing Golden. I know there's some running backs we're going to talk about tomorrow that I need to jump on. I think I got through the Kansas Neal. I got through that, and I'm kicking myself in the butt because I think I have Sampson maybe too low from Tennessee in the 3rd round. But damn, I really like Henderson a lot in that. I think, man, to be honest with you, Voch, if Dallas is targeting a running back at 3rd round, we better get this thing sorted out.
Damn straight.
Because they don't have that 4. They don't have that 4. So I wonder if they don't take Genty, say they take Banks, take Banks, and then, they turn around and they take a receiver, and maybe they're going to take a back. I don't know. They'll probably go defense, but we need to get those 3rd round backs. I know I need to get those sorted out because I think that's the last chance.
Yeah.
We'll see if this thing goes much deeper, but Dallas not having a 4, kind of hurts them right now as far as the running back game goes.
Yeah.
The way I see it right now. So anyway,
Brian, how do you want to attack this? I want to give us a homework assignment. I got 5 names, 5 names down. Now,
all right.
This is what I'm asking you, right?
Yeah.
How fast do you want to get to this Golden conversation, the wide receiver from Texas? You want to do that tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd like for us to be able to talk about Golden. If you would please study him, I would appreciate that because I think that we need to sort out the Golden and then the Williams and which one you like out of the 2. Because I think that's going to be maybe a piece because if you don't get a receiver in the 1st round, you're maybe looking at one in the 2nd, and we need to kind of figure out those guys is what we need to do.
So, Brian, how about this? Both of us are going to watch 2 players tonight, and we're going to come here tomorrow and talk about 3 of them, okay?
Okay, got it.
So, I've watched R.J. Harvey, the running back from UCF. You need to watch him.
Okay, R.J. Harvey, and I'm hearing by listening to you talk, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised about this.
He's a bad boy. We are going to get these running backs and wide receivers figured out, Brian. R.J. Harvey. You've seen Golden, the wide receiver from Texas.
I have. That would be a good one for you to watch.
I have not. So I'm going to watch Golden, and we're going to talk about him tomorrow. That's 2. Then, have you seen the tackle from Tennessee, Omar Norman Lott?
Okay. List.
He's right there. Okay.
He's right there. Matter of fact, I was watching Porter, the corner from Iowa State.
I got him next.
Then it was going to be Helm, the tight end from Texas.
I got him next.
And then Norman Lott was going to be. So I will elevate Norman Lott along with Harvey is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes, sir. We'll watch those 3, and based on what you just told me, I'm going to put together a list for our Friday show. But tomorrow, everybody write this down. This will be on the test. We're going to watch. Is it Marcus Golden?
What's
Golden's name? Golden. I don't even.
Hang on.
I haven't even. He's not even on my list.
I talk about him every day, and then I don't, and then I can't remember first names. Hold on, please. I know people out there going. It's Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden.
Okay, cool.
Matthew.
Everybody, we're gonna watch Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. We're gonna watch R.J. Harvey, running back from UCF, and we're gonna talk about Omar Norman Lott, the defensive tackle, defensive lineman because he lines up everywhere, I guess, from Tennessee. Yeah. We're gonna break those 3 guys down tomorrow, and y'all need to be ready to come in the comments and talk about them, okay? But tonight, though, in this comment section right here, this one right here, let us know what y'all think about the guys that we talked about today, Savion Williams and Amos, the cornerback from Ole Miss, and Carson Schwessinger and Ashton Gelati. Let us know what you think about those guys, and me and Brian will engage you while he's walking in the morning and I'm out boxing or something. All right, that'll be a good little homework assignment for us, and that'll be us, coming back tomorrow and breaking down those guys. Wednesday, so we got draft show Thursday. So cool. break that back down.
Yeah, we do a review too. We'll do a review, a recap of what we did Thursday. I've got a feeling it'll be a spirited one. With you back in the building, it's always spirited.
It's loud and obnoxious is what it is, bro. That's what you want to say.
I was trying to say that, yeah.
It's all good. Hey, I'm trying to get paid on Twitter, y'all. So please, VOCHLO with me, ARDI, tap in with me. And BRYN Broaddus on his socials. Y'all be sure to tap in with us. All right. We love y'all to peace. Y'all hold it down until next time. Crown.